Hello everybody, this is Lisa Jean and welcome to Sweaty Saturday. I'm going to try to start posting some exercise videos on Saturdays just to help get you inspired to do a little workout. Most of these exercise moves are things that we do in my bar fitness class. So if you're kind of curious about what we do in there, this is a good way to kind of start to see a little bit about what we do. Also, a lot of this is also really good cross training for belly dance. So if you are a belly dancer, this is a great one to check out. This particular exercise that we're going to do some work with a squishy ball. And this is a Pilates sponge ball. I just bought mine off of Amazon. If you don't have a Pilates sponge ball, a ball that's roughly just like a rubber ball that's roughly around this size that's slightly deflated works good. And you can also do this without the ball at all. The extra kicker about using the ball is if when you use it, you're going to exercise, you're going to activate those inner thigh muscles a little bit more. So if you really want to work on those inner thighs, get yourself a little ball. So what we're going to do, if you have a ball, we're going to have our feet hip width apart, so right underneath our hips. If you have this ball, you're going to place it, you want it to be above the knees, not right at the knees. You want it to be a little bit above, either a little above, or you can even bring it up a little higher, wherever's comfortable. I'm going to be kind of right here in the middle. You're going to aim to have your feet about hip width apart. Depending on the size of your ball, you may need to be a little bit closer or a little bit further, but you want to feel like you're actively squishing that ball in between your legs. You can actually see I'm kind of squishing it. I promise this thing won't pop. If you don't have a ball, just stand with your feet hip width apart. We're going to start with our feet flat on the floor. I'm going to stand this way so that way you can see exactly what I'm doing here. So my toes and my heels are on the floor. My weight is evenly distributed between the ball and the foot and the heel of my foot. I'm going to have my hands on my hips so it's easier for you to see. You can always have our hands out to the side, up above, maybe out in front, whatever works. I'm going to keep mine in front because I think that'll be easiest for you to see. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend I'm riding an elevator. I'm going to act like I'm going to sit down on a chair. So my back is going straight down and then lift it up. This is a demi-plie. So we're bringing it down and up. My ears stay over my shoulders, stay over my hips, stay over my ankles. You don't want to do a squat where you're letting the booty come out. That's a different move. We're just going to go straight down and straight up. Make sure you're keeping those heels flat on the ground. If you feel like your heels are coming up, you're probably going a little bit too deep. So just a little bit and up. It's not a huge movement, but trust me, you'll feel it. Down and up, down and up. Really engage those lower abdominal muscles. So that way we know that they're not letting your booty trail out behind you. Engage those and zip them up. All right, now change it up. This is working a lot of our quads. Let's work the bottom part of our leg, our calves, and our feet. So hands here, hands here, hands here. I'm going to keep them here so it's easy to see. We're just going to raise up onto those toes and back down. I'm really zipping up between my pubic bone and my belly button. I'm holding it nice and tight, trying to keep my back as straight as I can. I'm pressing in on that ball if you've got it. Bring it up and down, up and down. Good. Your balance comes from that point about 2 inches below your belly button. So you really have to engage that. Pull that in. Shoulders down, chest expanded. Good. And let's see if we can balance. Bring those heels up. You don't have to come up as high as I am. Even just a little bit is good. I've got quite a bit of flexibility in my feet, so I can come up pretty high. Balance for a moment, and then we're going to bring it down. All right. Now, we're going to combine those two exercises. So I'm going to keep my hands here, over here, over here, over here. And we're going to do a plie. We're going to come up through that neutral position, up onto the toes. So I'm going to come down and up, down. Theoretically, you should be able to do this with your back flat against a wall. It's just like riding an elevator. Keep this engaged so we aren't trailing back behind us. That's actually going to crunch up your low back and not be terribly good for back there. So we're going to keep it nice and straight. Down and up. Shoulders are down, chest is lifted. Engage those abs to keep the tailbone down. And up. 2 more. Down and up. I'm still pressing in on that ball. Down and up. Good. I'm going to come down. I'm going to face you guys this time. So I'm going to keep a little bend in my knees. So I'm not super bent, but I'm not straight. Just this nice little soft knee position. We're going to do one more exercise to target our legs, and then we're going to switch into some abdominal exercises. So for our legs, we're gonna try to see if we can pop that ball. I promise you can't pop it. So I'm gonna hold my hands on my hips and I'm just gonna squeeze in, release, in, release, in. It's tiny. I'm like literally moving maybe an inch altogether, half inch on each side. Squeeze and in. Lift the chest. Try to squeeze with the inner thighs without activating the booty. It's really easy to want to contract everything. It seems like contract everything, contract everything. We want to get it just that inner thigh, just inner thigh. It's tricky. It takes a lot of practice. So let's do 4, release, 3, release, 2, release, 1, release. All right, we're gonna keep this nice soft knees. We don't want to lock out. We're gonna get ready to do some abdominal work. If your knees are locked, this exercise is not gonna work. You wanna have a little slight bend in those knees, but the heels are gonna stay on the floor because it's really tough on your Achilles tendon if you have a little bit up. So I'm gonna be here. All we're gonna do, if this is the first time you've ever done this exercise, hands on your hips is a really great place to be. If you've done this before, either hands to the side or even hands above your head. I'm gonna pull my shirt up a little bit so you can kind of more easily see what I'm doing. We're gonna target, let's do our obliques first. So find the top of your hip bone and find the bottom of your rib cage. This should be a bony bump here and a bony bump here. And this nice soft squishy part right in here. This is your oblique. This is what we're gonna use. So if you put your hand in this nice soft squishy part, we're gonna soften those knees by dropping that tailbone. Don't let it come out behind you. It's gotta drop straight down. Weights back in our heels. I'm going to think about pulling this hip bone into that bottom of the rib cage by crunching up so my knee straightens a little bit. And then I'm gonna do the other side. I'm gonna crunch that, bring that hip into the rib cage. Bring the hip into the rib cage. Bring the hip into the rib cage. Now, your knees are reacting to the motion, to this contraction up here. You don't wanna drive, if I drive it from my knees, you end up getting this kind of side to side, sticking your booty out, and you're working your thighs really nice, but you're really not doing anything here. We wanna activate this. So put those fingers in that nice squishy part between your hip bones and your rib cage. Lift the chest, bring that chin back in line, and we're going to squeeze that hip up and release. Squeeze it up and release. You wanna see from the side, up and down, up and down, up and down. If you do belly dancing, this is a hip lift. This is where your hip lift really comes from, is from these obliques. I'm gonna keep going to the side here. Weights back in your heels. You wanna try hands out to the side, up. If it's easier to have that tactile feeling of being able to feel those hips coming up, keep your hands on your hips. You are ready for a little more challenge, bring the hands up, roll the shoulders back, up and down, up and down, up and down. Do a couple more. Try not to activate your glute muscles. It's just in here, up and down. Last one. All right, one more exercise to target those abs. We're gonna do a tuck and release. I'm gonna stand sideways again because I think it'll be easier to see. We still have this ball. We're still holding this ball between our legs. Don't forget your ball. So, weights evenly distributed. Dropping those knees, dropping that pelvis, shoulders back. I'm gonna bring my hands out here so it's easy to see. You can have them here, 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 here. This is nice if you're getting used to how this motion works, to how this feels. I'm gonna have them here so you can really see. You're gonna think about that belly button and that pubic bone, and you're going to bring them together. So I'm tucking my pelvis in, and then I'm going to release it back to that neutral position. You don't wanna crunch it out too far back because that's hard on your low back. So we're just gonna pull it in and release. Pull it in and release. If you have your hands on your hips, it's like your pelvis is a bowl of water and you're swooshing the water back and forth. Swish it up, swish it back, up and back. If you really want to exercise the whole lower body, you can add that little booty squeeze, release, booty squeeze. If you want, particularly if you're belly dance training, try to target just those lower abdominal muscles and leave the glutes out of it. Da, da, da. Make sure that your knees are nice and bent, because if your knees are straight, there's no place for your pelvis to go. So we have to bend them to get that mobility. Tuck, release. It's deep. It's that lower abdominal spot that's hard to get to. Tuck, release, tuck, release, tuck, release, tuck, release. Now, bonus. If you've never done belly dancing, this might be a little advanced. If you're a belly dancer, you already know how to do this. So we're gonna go ahead and combine this and make an omi, or an interior hip circle. So I'm gonna soften my knees, drop my pelvis. I'm gonna bring my hands out to here. Extra bonus, maybe bring them up high. Shoulders are back and down, chest is lifted. I'm going to lift on one side, tuck the pelvis, lift on the other, and release. Tuck, lift, tuck, lift, release. Again, lift, tuck, lift, release, lift, tuck, lift. Now if you want to smooth it out, in front, behind, in front. Squeeze that ball, keep those knees close together. In front, behind, in front. Don't use the booty muscles, it's just obliques and lower abs. And back, in front, and back, in front. One more, I lied, one more, in front, and back. Now let's take it the other side. So I'm gonna start on this side. We're gonna lift and tuck, lift, release. The squishy part here, lower abs, oblique, release. One more, lift and tuck, lift. Now let's see if we can smooth it out. In front, behind, in front. Don't let those booty muscles activate. Hold on to the ball. Lift the chest, drop the shoulders, breathe, smile. It's easy, right? So easy. Lift, tuck, lift, release, lift, tuck, lift, release, lift, tuck. One more, lift, tuck, lift, release. Bring it down, bring it up. Whew. Let's take that ball out. And a couple of quick stretches just to loosen things up here. Shake those legs, bounce. Let's take one foot and step on the other one and stick that hip out to the side. Good, let's do the other side. Good. Little quad stretch. Oh, let's do this one. I'm gonna take 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Both feet are facing forward. Bending this front knee so the knee is right over the ankle. Place my hands on my booty, pressing the booty forward, opening the chest, just tilting the head up. By pressing those hips forward, you should feel a little pull on this quad here. Good. And then bring that foot in a little bit and stretch the calf. And we'll do the other side. So now we got one leg in front, one leg behind. Hello, ball. Hands on the hips. This front knee is going to bend so the knee is right over the toe. Hips are shining straight to the front, pressing those hips to the front with my hands. Opening that chest and just looking up gently towards the ceiling. Feeling a nice pull along the front here. Okay, I'm going to step in a little bit, flex that front foot, stretch that calf muscle. Good, and bring it on up. All right, so that is a fun sequence that we can do with our little squishy ball here to target our legs and our abdominals. Great thing about bars that we often do a lot of multitasking. It's pretty rare that we're only working just one muscle. It's really awesome to work multiple muscle groups at the same time. So we're getting as much work as possible in a very short amount of time. So if you enjoyed that, drop a like. If there's a specific area of your body you'd like an exercise for, let me know. And if you think you would like to try more stuff out, come check out my bar class on Tuesday nights via Zoom. All right, you can find me at on my Facebook page, Lisa Jean, or Lisa Jean Belly Dance, there we go. And my website is www.lisajeanbellydance.com. All right, thanks everybody. Mwah.